Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I'm happy and grateful for another day to right my wrongs. I'm happy and grateful for another opportunity today. As you can see or can tell, I am back at Children's Hospital. Um, we got some things going on as a family today, but all is well. Why? Because today is Monday. What is Monday? Monday, we have named Manifest Monday. So I know I can speak those things that are not as though they are. And I know that everything is already working for the good of me because I love Jehovah God. So again, I'm happy and grateful for life today. I'm telling y'all, if you ever get to a point where you feel like your situation or your life is so heavy and that things are so bad, come to Children's Hospital. Come to a hospital where you see little kids that are strong, they're mighty. And, for some of y'all who know, some who don't, I got a 4-month-old grandbaby. And when I tell you she is a warrior, that girl is a warrior that's victorious. So by faith, I know everything that's even transpiring today is already, it's already done. She's healed from the top of her head to the soles of her feet. And by faith, I already know it is so. Okay. But it is April, and April is Financial Literacy Month. So I definitely want us to continue with that. And I won't be long because, of course, I am in a waiting room. I've already told the young lady who's at the desk, I'm going to keep this quick. So I hope you guys can hear me because I'm like in the open. But again, it's Financial Literacy Month, and we've talked about our mindset. We've talked about, really just understanding why we are the way that we are with money. We've talked about budgeting. Budget is a blessed word, not a bad word, because you have to know what comes in and out. Okay. We talked about credit. All right. We talked about the FICO score. And now I kind of want to give you guys some things because, like I was saying last week, it is not hard to get your credit score moving in the right direction. It's the self-discipline. It's the discipline part that will keep it to where it keeps going in the right direction. Okay. So in everything we do, we know that we need self-control and we need self-discipline. But in the process of that, if you have any revolving credit, this is what I want you guys to make sure you know. So please write it down, take notes, or make sure you go back to the YouTube channel, put it in like a sentence. I am Nicole D. Jones. And go ahead. I created a new playlist for Financial Literacy Month. And make sure you go back and get this, okay? But what you want to know is you want to make sure that you know for any of your credit cards, anything that's revolving, you want to make sure that you know your bill cycle end date, okay? And the reason this is important is we know that credit is only reported once a month, all right? And with that, what's the amount that's actually reported is the balance on your bill cycle end date, okay? So you need to know that because a lot of times we think that what's reported to our credit report is the balance when we make the payment. Like, how it'll tell you the available balance and your current balance. But that's not what reports. What reports is whatever is at the bill cycle end date. Okay. So you want to know that. You also want to know what date that the creditor assesses you a late fee. And the reason why this is important is let's say that you cannot pay on the due date. What you want to do is you want to make sure while you're doing your budgeting and you're looking at your calendar that even if you can't pay before or on the date, you never go past the day that a late fee is assessed. Okay. Nowadays, credit cards, they usually give you a late fee when you don't pay on the day. If you don't pay by 8 o'clock or something Eastern time. But those are things that you need to know because you don't want to get hit with a $30 fee or a $35 fee unnecessarily. Okay. You also want to know the date that they report to the credit bureaus. All right. Because like I said, a creditor only reports once every 30 days minimum. Okay. Some report once every 60, once every 90, but it's never less than 30 days. Okay. Once a month at least, if not longer. So you want to know what date that is. All right. The reason that becomes important is, let's say that you're trying to buy a home or something like that, and you are trying to track your credit and your score. You want to know the date that it reports so that you're able to maintain that and know when the information's there, if the information's even valid, because you may be looking at your credit report one day and it says one number, but they haven't reported for the previous month's activity. You also want to know which credit bureaus they report to, because everyone does not report to all three. Okay. There's actually like a total of 5 credit bureaus, but the main three that are used is Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. All right. So with your lines of credit, you always want to know who they report to. And the reason being is each one of them have a different algorithm that they use, which is why the numbers are different. All right. You can have a 740 with one, a 526, and then a 600 with another. It's all about who's reporting. So you may have more creditors that just report to Equifax and not the other two. You have to know this, because then when you're trying to get your score up with a specific one, you know which card is reflected in and which one reports there. Okay. And then another thing that I added after the women's group is, you want to know how long a credit card can lay dormant before they close your card. Okay. Because a lot of times we'll pay it off and we'll zero it out and then we just don't use it. But you got to know with the creditor how long they allow it to stay that way. Because the creditor will look at it like you don't need it, you don't need the line of credit, and they'll actually close your credit card. So if you know that there's a card that you need to use at least once every 4 months, do a tank of gas, do whatever. Make sure you keep that debt to ratio, like we talked about last week, in a healthy place. And that'll be ways to boost your credit too. Okay. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that, because if you do that, because you got to remember when we talked about the FICO score and how things are reported, 65% of your score every month is your debt to ratio, so your credit utilization, and on-time payments. So when you know this information, you're able to stay on it. And that's why I tell you guys, like, if you can't pay extra, always pay the minimum of your credit cards. Okay. Even if it's $25, you still want to pay. You want that on-time payment, because one late payment, because again, I don't know if we broke the numbers down here. I know we broke it down with the, well, I think I did. But the total amount of points that you can get every month is like 300, a little over 300 points, just between your on-time payments and your credit utilization. So you want to make sure that you're paying at least the minimum every month. Of course, you want to pay more than that because you want that extra to go towards principal. But just know this about your credit. See, in order for you to keep money as a servant, not a master, you got to know you got to know what your credit looks like. You have to know how to read your credit report. You have to know how things are reported. You got to be in control of these things, because that's how you're able to use it the way you need to. Credit should just be a tool. All right. It is where you build it up enough where you can use other people's money and you don't have to use yours. Okay. But you have to have that discipline with it. You can't have it where someone gives you money and you're just blowing it and you're just irresponsible with it. That's not going to help you. Okay. At the end, you want to make sure that everything about you reflects you unapologetically. Okay. Because what are we doing? We are walking in our health, we're walking in our wealth, and we're walking in our prosperity. no matter what. That's why we're learning how to be unapologetically who we are, because we're doing it in a posture of submission and humility. We're doing it in a posture of self-discipline, self-control, self-respect, all these things, because we also understand no one can control us but us. Okay, we can't control anyone but ourselves. So you want to make sure in every area and aspect of your life, you are fully aware of what's going on. Don't go into anything blinded. All right. Don't go into anything with yourself in a posture of ignorance. And I don't mean like being ignorant rowdy. I'm talking about lack of knowledge. Okay. So you got to make sure that in everything that you do, you're in control and you understand what's going on. This also helps because let's say that you get into a pinch and you're trying to keep your credit utilization low. So let's say you have a credit card that has $1,000 balance. I'm sorry, $1,000 credit limit, and you only have $100 on it right now. That's great. You got 90% of utilization available. Make your score go up. Something happens, life happens. Your car, you need tires, I don't know. Life happens. When you know your bill cycle end date, you can actually use your card, pay it before the bill cycle end date, and then that lump or that big amount, that $500 you had to put on there, it'll never report. Okay? So you want to know these things so that you can always stay in control of how things are being reported on your behalf, because it's your credit. All right. And again, because it's Manifest Monday, we are adding to our affirmations. I am debt free. I am the lender, not the borrower. I am a good steward over my finances. Okay. I told y'all, I ain't going to stop till I get at least 8 streams of income. All right. 8. Why did I pick the number 8? Because 8 is new beginnings. All right. I don't want 7. I don't want it to be completed because I don't want it to stop. All right. I am learning how to master my money, that my money, my wealth, all of that, it serves me. It doesn't master me. And this is an important part. Okay. Your credit is important. Knowing your credit score, knowing what makes it, knowing those different things. Like I told y'all, go to myfico.com. There is so much information, but you have to educate yourself so that you're able to understand how to make credit work for you. Okay. That's why you can have people that are paper rich and money broke. They're money broke, but they're paper rich because they have excellent credit and they know how to maintain it. So when they need an extra or a lump, a lender will look at them and feel safe with giving them what they need. That all comes from self-discipline. It all comes from really knowing where things are with your finances. Okay. So again, what time is it? It's 10:15. I don't want to belabor the time because, like I said, I'm in a waiting room. I'm in a waiting room and everyone is not comfortable with people talking loud. Everyone is not comfortable with people talking about money. And I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. All right. But I didn't want to thank y'all for being accountability to me. Okay. Accountability, because some people will be like, oh, she still did the call. I did, because I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you being accountable to me. I appreciate you just being here to take off my mind what's on my mind or what was on my mind before 10 o'clock. Because regardless to knowing and believing all things are well, I'm still human. So thank you for my mental break. I told you everything is perspective. Thank you. And during Financial Literacy Month, because we're wrapping it up. Let me see. Are we in the last week of the month? We are in the last week of the month. I really hope that you take the information that you're learning about your finances and don't let it just be a topic, but really apply it, really see it through, really set goals, because nothing has changed. We're just building every time we talk. So we're still writing the vision. We're still making it plain. We're doing all these things. Have a vision for your money. Have a vision for your wealth. Have a vision for your overflow. Have a vision for your prosperity. All right? You got to do it. Okay? Because at the end of it, I keep telling you, this is the journey to the destiny. And it is a fixed fight. And we win. So I don't know about y'all, but every day I want everything that's in store for me. I don't want to make it back to the Garden of Eden before the apple was bit and I open a closet and blessings fall out because I forfeited them. All right. I want all that this journey has. And I believe debt free, good credit, tools that will put us in positions to be able to build legacy and leave for our children's children. I believe that's what we're destined for. And this is a part of it. Okay. So again, I am Nicole D. Jones. Remember, we are healthy, we are wealthy, we are prosperous, and everything that our hands go to touch, it must, it shall, it will prosper and grow. Okay? Hold on to it, no matter what your bank account looks like. Because see, it's the last week of the month. We should be working on our budget for May this month. Okay. So go back, listen to the recordings. All right. Listen to how we do our budget and be all right with it. And I commend you now because if you weren't doing budgets before, the fact that you're willing to do it, you're already a step ahead of where you were. Okay. So again, Nicole D. Jones, continue to have a fantabulous day. Smooches.